Hello everyone! I hope that you guys are doing well today. So today we'll be pressing badge buttons. I have a few right here. I have a few designs here. They're mostly fan art designs, but I have a few original ones that I create as well, such as the Froggo one here, and we'll see if I like how it looks like. But I didn't want to do just all fan art ones, so we will see how it goes. We'll go for as long as it takes to press badge buttons. If you have any questions, please let me know. And yeah, let's get started on pressing these badge buttons. Oops. I got this press way before I got this press about a month before I got my silhouette machine, and I'm glad that I'm finally getting to use it more. First is I'm gonna try is this Froggo design. Also, I'm sorry if the quality isn't that great. I'm using my webcam. If I find out that I like these kind of streams, that's not an art stream, I will get a better camera. But we're gonna try this Froggo one first. And then this is the back piece. So I have to make sure that the pen that opens here is facing down when I put it inside. I also try to center it the best as I can depending on where the holes are. And that looks good. It's super cute. So I will continue with making, might be too much light. But I will continue with making these. Because most of the time when I make the original ones, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them or not. But if they look good, I will make them. Next one we have is a sun one, sunny one. Make sure there's no dust or anything on the paper before I press it. When you cut the circles for these buttons, you don't have to make the circles nice and perfect. As long as you follow the template, you should be good to go. The template gives you extra room so that when you press the button, it's okay if your circle's not perfect when you cut it. I cut all my circles by hand, which I don't mind. It's kind of comforting. Why is this? I did a mistake, you guys. I put the button in correctly, but thankfully it's okay. It's okay. I put it in the wrong circle, but it looks totally fine. So what you're supposed to do is there's these circles here, and they kind of have like a dip that goes around the sides, and that's supposed to go in this circle right here. And I don't know how well you can see it, but the circle here has sides that are open, so this side here can go in really nicely like that, even when I dropped it. The next design we're going to do is the Jamie one. Another original art design that I'm trying. hopefully it'll be okay. Yes, I'm making these for Nadeshicon, and then I would probably put the originals up in the store. I used to sell buttons in the Etsy shop, but I stopped because I thought they were too expensive to ship. But I think I might put them back into the shop, but we will see. And hello there, Cynthia. I always have a little bit of trouble saying your name. But this one looks really good too. You probably won't be able to see it well on this crappy webcam. I'll have to upgrade my webcam so it looks better, but you will see them a lot better in the studio vlog. But the Jamie one looks good as a button, so I might make a few more of those later on. These pieces of artwork look a little better too, because I printed on my nicer paper that's meant for having good color. So I think the colors are nicer on here and they look sharper. Another Jamie one. When I bought my button press, I bought their starter bundle, and it came with 500 of the pieces for making the buttons. And I still have a lot to go through, as you can see here. So I will have a lot of button making supplies for a while. Something I am kind of interested in is I've seen some artists laminate their artwork with like a self-laminate and not using these plastic pieces here. And I wonder if I could do that with my matte laminate, because I like how my matte laminate looks. And maybe when I run out of these, I could use the matte laminate instead. But I decided not to try it this time around since I have the supplies to do it. But once I run out, I'm going to try that to see if it works. I don't see why it wouldn't. But sometimes I wondered how people got such nice coverings on the buttons, and I think that's how they do it. Looks good. Most of these are fan art ones, Studio Ghibli and Fruits Basket ones that I'm stocking up on. When I sold at Cosplay Imaginaire, the button that sold the best was my No Face one. And I was a little surprised. Well, I wasn't surprised, I guess, too surprised. But also I did not have a good button setup to showcase what button designs I had, and they were all in the button pack. They were in the button box all mixed up together. So I think I figured out a way to display them better, so hopefully they will do better when I have them for Nadeshicon. This one is Howl from Howl's Moving Castle. And all my Totoros sold out, but I think I only had 3 of them, and I kind of didn't like the design I had before, but this is the one I have now. I had a different photo for Totoro, so this would be the first of this design tutorial that I have. So we're going to see if we like how it looks once it's pressed. Want to make sure most of the dust or all the dust is off the paper. I get really picky with my buttons if there's like a lot of dust or if I see a speck of dust, I'll be like, okay, I can't sell this. So I want to make sure it's as nice and clean as possible. Looks good. Just Twitter on. We have Toru Honda from Fruits Basket. This one is missing the pin in the back. Should probably toss that. I think I might have found the backing, the pen piece for that a while back, and I might have thrown it away. So there's no point keeping that in there. Hello, I love Howl too, but I think Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away are my favorite Studio Ghibli movies. Now we have another Jamie one coming up. Good. Never watched it. I think I got my husband to watch that with me. If you ever want to watch a Studio Ghibli film, I highly suggest Howl's Moving Castle or Spirited Away. If you ever are interested in trying to watch any. But there's a bunch of good Studio Ghibli movies out there. One movie that I've been wanting to watch by Studio Ghibli that I haven't taken the chance to watch is the Ponyo movie. I don't know, I know a little bit about it, but not a lot. But I do want to watch that. Oh, we also have, I forgot, but we also have a birthday Froggo from my birthday Froggo sticker sheet that I wanted to try. So this would be the first time trying this one. Hello Katara, how are you? I'm glad that you can make it to the live. We're just pressing badge buttons for Nadeshicon. Oh, you got to see it in theater. I'm so jealous. I would love to see I would love to have seen a Studio Ghibli movie in theaters. Oh, the Froggo one, the birthday Froggo one looks really good. I apologize if you guys can't really see it with this webcam I'm using, but like I said, you will see it a lot better in the studio vlog, the upcoming studio vlog. And if this stream goes well, or the streams that are not art related go well, then I will buy a better webcam for this. But for now, this was the only choice for trying this kind of stream that wasn't an art stream. Diamond painting. I wanted to try diamond painting, but I haven't gotten around to it. There's a discount store here not too far from us that sell a lot of diamond paintings. I almost grabbed one, but I didn't. And they're pretty inexpensive, but I just haven't grabbed one yet. So maybe in the near future I will grab one. A no face one right here. If you weren't here, I said that no face was really popular at Cosplay Imagineer when I sold my buttons there. They sometimes show Ghibli movies in theaters in US. Not sure. I'm not really sure either about Canada. I mean, I know that, well, not too long ago when the Demon Slayer movie came out, they did that, I think, but it was in Montreal, and I'm about 3 hours from Montreal, so didn't go to that. And I think the Demon Slayer movie came out when like the COVID restrictions, I think, were starting to slowly lift. So we didn't bother to try to go, but I don't know if they would show Studio Ghibli stuff here. And I do live in Quebec City, so there's French showings and of course English showings. I think usually they probably only have like maybe one English showing. I could be wrong. A little fun fact, when The Lion King came out, I went and watched The Lion King. Which one is it? The 3D one? Or the newest Lion King film. Went to go watch it with my mother-in-law and my husband. And I ended up watching it in French because even though I didn't know French, and that was before I started Francisation classes, so I had no clue what they said the entire time. But since my mother-in-law doesn't know English, I didn't want her to sit through it not knowing what was going on. So I went and watched it in French. Demon Slayer is on Netflix as an anime, but they had the movie before it was on Netflix, showed in movie theaters. But I think that movie is now on Netflix. I think we already watched it. It was pretty good. And it was in Canada. They probably showed it in the US too. I would be surprised if they didn't. Pretty sure they did though. I think when that movie came out, there was a lot of TikToks on it about it. Then here's a Froggo one. I'm so happy the original designs that I tried are looking really good as a button, because usually sometimes they don't look good. It makes me sad. But so far they're looking good. Also, I don't know if I said this, but this Mr. Sun, or not Mrs. Sun, it's a different sun. This sun design That's also the pause screen, or the screen that changes in between days in my studio vlog. I turn it into an acrylic keychain, so I'm hoping it comes out well. I had a few keychains of my other original Mr. Sun, like the first Sun character I ever drew, and he did really well as a keychain, so I'm hoping that this one would do well as well. So I wanted to Demon Slayer, if you're not really into anime, I don't think you would be into Demon Slayer. It's quite intense for someone who doesn't really watch anime. I personally really like Demon Slayer. I think it's pretty unique. I like how the characters look like they look different from other animes I've watched. So the art style really draws me in. Hey, at least you could tell your son that you tried. That's all that matters. Yeah, I would not suggest that as an anime for someone to watch if they've never like watched anime before. Or maybe if someone isn't really into like Japanese stuff in general. I would suggest a Studio Ghibli though. A Studio Ghibli film, like maybe Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle. Those are pretty good. My top two favorite. I got my button press. It's been a while since I bought it. So I don't exactly remember. But later on, or if you message me on Instagram, or maybe at the end of the live stream, I'll add that information into my description of the live stream. But I've had this for years now and I exactly can't remember where I got it from. But I think on the side here it says that is manufactured in the USA by Tecre. So this button machine brand is oh yeah, that's right. What Azipu said, it's from People Power Press. That's correct. It's from People Power Press. This one is a 1.25 button press, but you can get the other bigger sizes from there. I almost got a 1.5 inch button press, but for me, I feel like 1.5 inch is too big. So I went with the 1.25 instead. These are the really high quality button presses. My name is Rui, and Demon Slayer was one of the first times I saw a character with my name. Oh, really? Yeah, People Power Press is where I got it. I bought the starter bundle. I bought this back in 2019. And I think they had like 2 different bundles that you could get if you wanted the bundles with all the pieces here. I did the starter bundle, I believe, and it came with 500 pieces to make the buttons. So I will have a little while before I go through all these, and thankfully starting to vent in person will make having this button press worth it. And then maybe it'll finally pay off. I got the silhouette machine, my silhouette portrait too, about a month after, and Of course, the silhouette has already paid itself off a lot, and but this thing, it's gonna take a while. But I do enjoy pressing buttons when I can, and I wanted to make sure that all the buttons that I have for Nadeshicon are not all just fan art buttons. I took all my old original designs and put them in the discount bin. So now I don't have any originals that are not discounted. Hopefully these would do well. The originals will do well, and then I will make more of them. And I might put them in the Etsy shop. But I had originally taken them out because I thought that they were too low cost for such high shipping. But I think I'm gonna put them back in after Nadeshicon. I really love the Jamie buttons. The Jamie buttons look really good. I wish the camera would capture them a little better. And most of the buttons I'm making this time around, even though I have a lot of different characters and a couple of originals, making mostly no faces since they were popular at Cosplay Imagineer. Make sure there's no dust on the plastic piece too, or it's gonna mess up the whole button. Okay, there we go. I got my banner I ordered delivered to our mailbox, the community mailbox. So after this, I might possibly walk over there to go get it. I'm really excited to get my banner. I showed the design in the last studio vlog. So if you saw the last studio vlog, you have a general idea of how it looks like. I'm super excited to get it. I was thinking of putting the squiggly lines on there like I have on my YouTube banner, but decided not to do it because there's the grommets that are on the side that you use to hold the banner up. But I hope that looks good. You can't wait to see the keychains. I am hoping that the keychains turn out well. They're a little smaller than what I would like. I would like to have 3-inch keychains, but this time around the group order only wanted to do 2-inch double-sided keychains. So they're gonna be kind of small. I have my mat here, so 2 inches is pretty small. They're literally like this big. As big as how I have my fingers on the screen mat. But I'm hoping that this will turn out okay. When I was using Sticker Mule, they were 2 inches, I think. Were they? Maybe they were 3 inches. I can't remember. But hopefully they turn out well. I think I will get them, the keychains, sometime after Nadeshicon. I did order acrylic coasters too, but I don't know if the manufacturer is different. Probably. I don't know if Will Grace does acrylic coasters. I can't remember, but that would be coming in. Acrylic coasters, acrylic keychains. I bought a new key clasp that is perfect for the Froggo design. Okay, there's a piece of dust on this. It's gonna drive me insane. Dealing with the dust is one of the major challenges of making buttons. This one is Yuki Soma from Fruits Basket. You can request an acrylic item without a keychain hole. Yeah, I saw that, and I think that would be cool if you wanted to make like acrylic pens yourself with that, or coasters. For the acrylic keychains I'm getting, I asked them not to put keychains on them. The key clasp, since I'll have key clasps here, and it'd just be easier if there's not a key clasp with the jump ring on it. That way I could just go ahead and start assembling it without having to take them all apart. I'm excited to show you guys the key clasp I have for the Froggo keychain. It is super cute, and I think it is perfect for that. Have another Toru one. Also got my acrylic nail polish racks in the mail. I just received them right before I went live, and I am planning to use that for my stickers and possibly my memo pads for my table. So I'm excited to get those put together to try out. Right now there's like 50 million things I want to do with my table setup, but it's so hard to imagine it because I have to remember I have a limited amount of pink grid cubes versus how many black grid cubes I have. So I have to adjust accordingly to how many of those I have. I want to try to do like a slanted display for my keychains and stuff, so people can look at it and touch it while they're not hanging up like most of the time. But we'll see how that goes, because I am gonna have, I think, quite a few products just on the table and not on the grid cubes. Still not even sure how I will display my prints. I'm thinking maybe the vinyl banner might end up on the black grid cubes somehow, but we'll see how that goes. I won't know until we get closer to sticker sheets because for some reason with the Laser King sticker paper, when I checked the sticker sheet, there may be 1 or 2 or 3 stickers on the sticker sheet that come off perfectly fine, and then the others don't come off at all even though they've been cut. So I've had a little bit of a problem with that, and then I have to just see if I want to keep trying to use those sticker sheets to make my sticker sheets or to use that brand for my sticker sheets, but we'll see. Again. Right now I think we'll only have what, 2 sticker sheets anyway, 2 sticker sheet designs. If I take them to Nadeshicon, I mean, I think I might as well. The Birthday Froggo sticker sheet and the Happy Meal sticker sheet. I don't know about the Halloween one. I might take the Halloween one because usually Halloween stuff can sell all year round versus Christmas stuff, which won't sell all year round. This pile is starting to grow. Should move it. I have my water here too. Should fix my pile up. Okay, there we go. Hello, Lemon. Welcome. I'm glad you made it. I believe we are, what, maybe 41 minutes in? Yeah, 41 minutes in. So you're good. I'm not exactly sure how long. We still have quite a bit of buttons to press. It looks good. I've been seeing a lot of this year cons doing really well. I know that the mini Montreal Comic Con that had in January, where entry was free, people did crazy well for that. And usually they don't do the mini Comic Con there in January. Usually they do it around Christmas time in December, and people were saying that vendors are saying that they did very, very well. So I'm hoping Nadeshicon does really, really well as well. Even what I've seen from some US cons, like people are, for the most part, are doing really well. Nadeshicon is a much smaller convention, but I hope that it does well. I received the information on the times to go set up and how long they are going to be open for each day, and they're open for about 7-ish hours each day, so they don't end too late. So that makes sense though, because Nadeshicon is run by an anime club at a local university, and in the end they're still students. So university students are busy. But I'm glad they don't end too late, so that if I need to stock up, I can do that after each day. But I guess that also depends on how tired I am at the end of each day. I know for a fact that it would go a lot better than the craft fair. The craft fair was fun to experience, but not my audience. It was 7 hours each day, and that's about the time for Nadeshicon as well. About 7-ish hours each day as well. So now, since we got all the tables set up, information and all that, where to load, where to park, and so on, I'm just now waiting to see where they put me in the artist alley. I hope I get a decent spot because the spot you get matters a lot at an anime convention, or just a convention in general. It matters a lot. When I went to the Quebec Comic Con last October? Last October I went to the Quebec Comic Con, and I was looking for a certain artist there because I know they were vending there because they had posted it on their Instagram. And I went through the artist alley area about 2-3 times, because usually they have the exhibitors, which are people who are reselling anime goods and so on, and then you have the artists who are selling their own merch. Usually they can be in the same room, but they might be split. So the first half of the room might be the exhibitors, and then the second half is maybe the artists. So usually I don't look at the exhibitor stuff that much because I'd rather go, support an artist. But after going through the artist alley section like several times, I couldn't find that artist. Hello, Lee. Yes, this is how badge buttons are made. They can be made different ways, but with my badge button, this is how they're made with my press. But yeah, I couldn't find the artist, and she eventually told me that her booth wasn't with the other artist alley people. So I was really confused. Maybe she got kind of put with the exhibitors because she said she wasn't put with the other artists. Hello, Kawaii Stars, how are you? So yeah, I was a little sad I couldn't find a certain artist I was looking for, and this just proves that the spot that you have is really important. But I think Nadeshicon will be fun. I've been told that Nadeshicon is a cozy and busy enough convention. So that sounds good for a first day, for a first time 3-day convention. So I'm looking forward to it. I need to practice more my French. I'm worried about my French, but I'm just gonna do the best I can. and we'll see how that goes. Okay, it looks good. And I also figured out for Alpaca, I was thinking about possibly vending Alpaca, but my husband and I talked about it, and we might just, if we go to Alpaca, which is in Montreal, it's also the biggest anime convention in Quebec, we're probably just going to go as our vacation. So I probably will not vend at Alpaca. Alpaca is huge, and I don't think I have the inventory for Alpaca anyway. We have already reserved a hotel for Alpaca, which will be right next to the convention center where they're doing it, and I'm so happy about that. Because before, when we went to Alpaca, we decided, I think we decided to go too late, and we ended up having to get a hotel 15 minutes away from the convention center, which doesn't sound too bad, walking 15 minutes. But then there's all those hills and all those slopes in Montreal you have to go through to get to the convention center. So it was not a fun walk back and forth. Right now we have reserved, but we could still cancel. We're not 100% sure, but we have reserved a hotel right next to the convention center in case we do decide to go. I think right now there's a high chance that we're going to go as attendees. And I just love going to I just love Chinatown there in general. I'm so glad the convention center is right next to Chinatown. There's also a Daiso, I think about 15 minutes away, that I have been wanting to go to, but I haven't found the time to go to the Daiso when I've been in Montreal. So it's about 15 minutes away from the convention center, I believe, unless they closed. It's been a while. It's been a few years since I went to a talkathon, but I'm hoping if we go to a talkathon, I can go to the Daiso. There is a lot of boba and a lot of good food right next to the convention center. I'm so happy that you don't have to just get the convention food because you're right next to Chinatown. There's a lot of good food, a lot of places for boba, but I have a certain place there that I like to get boba. Hello, Miss Bev. Thank you for coming to the live stream. You've been watching. I've been watching from my TV. I think it's behind this one. I've been here. Oh, hello, Miss Bev. Thank you for being here. But yeah, Sethia, if you're going to go, I highly suggest that you go ahead and at least reserve. I mean, because I think you don't have to pay yet. You can just reserve, and if you think you're going to cancel, you can cancel, I think, possibly a week or so before the convention, but I would highly suggest reserving it now, because we have waited before trying to figure out if we're going to go, and then we end up with a hotel that's way too far. So I would suggest at least trying to reserve one. I'm super excited. I hope we get to go. In the end, it's just gonna depend on finances. I hope we get to go because that would be our vacation. And just so you guys know, when you cut your circle, it doesn't have to be perfect, because here I didn't cut it really well here, and it's totally fine because the button template that you could find on Google, or I think there's some websites that give you the template as well. They're made so they have enough access for you. So if you cut your circles by hand and they're not the most perfect circles, it's totally fine. Yeah, definitely talk to your friends about it really soon, because if you don't do that soon, it's not gonna be fun. Especially since they've already announced the dates for it. Looks good. Still have quite a few to go. I think my favorite out of the new original ones is the birthday Froggo and the Jamie one. They're so cute. The birthday Froggo one, the way that it's like cropped onto the button is just super, super adorable. Wish I could show you guys better, but I really like how it looks. Get away, dust. There you go. And I've also, this year, I started to learn more about other anime conventions around here. So I'm super, super excited to learn about other conventions. Most are closer to Montreal. But at least I'm starting to learn more about the conventions here. And I hope to eventually add those other anime conventions to places that can vend, depending on how this year goes. So I think it's confirmed that this year would just be anything that's in Quebec City. So that means, I believe the next one would be Cosplay Imaginaire, which will be August? In August maybe? I don't remember when it was. But that's totally okay. But I think it will mostly depend on how Nadeshicon goes. And I have high hopes for it. Even though it's a small convention. I'm a little worried because I know that the guesses matter too. And there was a convention, anime convention called G-Anime here. Not too long ago that happened. And two of their guesses was Genshin Impact voice actors. So, I think they probably did pretty good. But I think that also happened at the same time of the Montreal Mini Comic Con. So, I pushed in the wrong one again. Oh, it's already pushed. Never mind, just kidding. But yeah, it happened at the same time of the Montreal Comic Con, so it happened in the end of January. But they must have had a pretty good amount of people for having two Genshin Impact voice actors. Because Nadeshicon is smaller, they're not gonna, I don't think Nadeshicon's gonna have guests like that. They have announced their guest of honor, and the guest of honor is a Japanese singer, and she sang one of the closing themes for Fullmetal Alchemist. But from the posts I've seen, most people don't know who she is. So I was a little worried that, but I hope that that doesn't affect attendance. There are other people who are going to be announced too, but we'll see how that goes. The convention center, I really like the convention center where they're going to have it, and it's in a pretty good location. It's in Haute Quebec, which is the very touristy area here in Quebec City. And there's always a lot of vendors who are really worried about not knowing French when they come to a convention here for Quebec Comic Con, for Nadeshicon, and they're always worried about their French and if they need to have French signs and so on. If you ever come to Quebec City and if you go to Haute Quebec, do not worry about not knowing French. It's a touristy place. There are a lot of owners and shop owners and people who run shops who know multiple languages. So you will not have to worry about not knowing French. Even the restaurants here will know. There's going to be someone who knows English. Most of the people I've seen that come here from me just visiting downtown in Quebec sometimes, we get a lot of Korean tourists here because I don't know if you guys watch K-dramas, but there was a really popular K-drama that was filmed in downtown Quebec. A scene was filmed in downtown Quebec, and so the Koreans really love coming here to take a picture of where that scene was shot. And in this one of the last 2 or so studio blocks, I took a picture there too. My cousins have joked with me that if they come visit, they only want to visit to come see the Red Door. It's a K-drama that was really, really popular. And they said they're only coming to see the Red Door. And I've been in Quebec City for 5 years now. Oh my gosh. Time flies. And it's just recently that I went to go see that famous door. We also get a lot of course, American tourists as well. A little funny story that I would like to share. I had my wedding photos taken during the summer in Haute Quebec, and we ran across people visiting from the States, and these people were exactly from where I was in Virginia before I moved to Quebec. And I was so surprised by that. I thought I wouldn't see anyone from there here. I mean, of course, you know what, you come here, but to be exactly from where I lived before I moved to Canada, I was really surprised by that. I have another birthday froggo. You want to see wedding pictures? I don't think my husband would want me to show wedding pictures. My husband does not like being on camera, so anytime he is on camera, I blur his face. If you go see me in person at a convention or you see me as an attendee somewhere, you might see him. Oh, hey, I found the backing for this. How exciting! I don't have to toss it. But maybe I will DM you a photo, Miss Bev. We will see. But I don't promise anything. I'll see. But I'll figure this out later. But at least I found the piece, so I don't have to check this. Yeah, really lucky with that wedding photos because my father-in-law has a daughter who was trying to get into photography, so we were able to get wedding photos for free. We actually got really lucky and was able to get a lot of our wedding services for free. Like the DJ for our wedding was the husband of a co-worker of my husband's. Does that sound right? Was one of my husband's co-workers' husbands, and we have a good relationship with them. So they offered to do the DJing at our wedding for free. So we're very, very thankful for that. And then all our friends help us set up and put everything down and take all the decoration and put all the decorations away. So we got really lucky with our wedding stuff. It's a pretty small wedding, but I had a lot of fun. Did I put that on wrong? Oh, I'm supposed to turn it. What am I doing wrong? Oh, this is done. Here, it's me again not paying attention very well. So now there's a button piece stuck on here. So we'll just make this one. We'll see how it goes. And if it messes up, that's just how it is. Hopefully I didn't mess up the button machine, because I would cry. I think I need to check it later, because there is something. You go, this Froggo was stuck, and even though the Froggo was stuck inside of the button machine, I was still able to press another button machine. I was able to still press another button with this button stuck in there. But I'm glad that it didn't mess up. It's gonna be a so that's really nice. I have to pay a little bit more attention to my button pressing. And just while we were just talking about my wedding and the DJs and stuff, there's a little funny story that I want to share with you guys. Where my husband worked before we moved was not too far from where I used to live before we moved. So my husband had always wanted me to go and pick him up from work, especially on the days that he walks to work. So one day I decided that I would surprise him, and I was going to go walk over there and go pick him up. And when I get really close to his workplace, there's a Canadian Tire really close to where he works. So I was crossing the parking lot of the Canadian Tire to get to his work building. Now, as I'm walking across the Canadian Tire, there's a small car that pulls up, and there's these two guys in the car. And this is before I learned French, and the guy who was driving asked me in French if I needed to be taken anywhere or be driven anywhere. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't speak French. And they started talking to me in English. I was like, And then I was like, no, I don't need you to drive me anywhere, because you know where I'm going is just like right here. So I just walked away and didn't think much of it. And then I meet my husband and one of his coworkers at the entrance of their building, and I tell him about that encounter. I was like, oh, is it because, like, you know, in the States, if you don't know, people think Canadians are really, really nice, extremely nice, you know? So I had that mentality. I was like, oh, did these two guys offer me a ride because they're just Canadian and they're just nice, just being nice? And they're both looking at each other and they're like, what the heck? It's like, no, like that is not common here. And I was like, oh. So after that, I stopped. Well, after that, I did go a few more times to go pick up my husband from work, but I just joke about it now, and I just tell my husband, like, I'm not coming because I'm going to get kidnapped. But that has never happened since then, so I'm really thankful for that. But I didn't think much of it, and I don't know, I just walked away, so it wasn't that big of a deal. There's a lot more of these loose pins I'm finding, so I need to separate them. So hopefully I can find the backings for them. When I first thought about buying a button machine, I saw that there was a not as expensive as this brand, because I think this brand is the brand that's usually suggested, but there was a different brand that I wanted to get that had changeable parts here where you can change the button size. And if, like, I wanted to make 1.5-inch buttons instead of 1.25 inches, I just changed this piece and I can use the button press the same. And I thought that was super, super cool. And I almost got that. But then my husband's like, you know, if you're going to buy a button machine, you might as well buy like the best quality one you can get. So I ended up with this one instead. And I really do like this one. There's some cheaper button machines that are just plastic, and those are totally fine if that's what you want to get. But the plastic ones, the thing about the plastic ones is they're not heavy enough, so every time you press down on the press, it makes your button machine move forward, so you're always having to hold it here. But this button machine is very heavy. I think the only complaint that I have about it is because, you know, it is all metal and stuff, is that of course for the button machine to function, they have to oil it up. So you have to be really careful when you use it, and you don't want to touch certain parts of this. If you touch certain parts of the machine, you're going to get that oil or that lubrication on your hands. and that is annoying to get off. So that's my only complaint about this machine, but other than that, it's a really great button press, and hopefully it will pay off soon. This is all, I think this was double the price of the Silhouette Portrait 2 back then, so that was a close call. You were smart not to accept a ride for them. I'm surprised I didn't jump out and grab you. I watched too many crime shows. Fortunately, the place where they asked me, that was a very, very, very public place. Like, there's bus stops everywhere, there's cars everywhere, there's people living around there everywhere. So like, if they did kidnap me, or if that was what they were trying to do, I think I might have been okay. I wouldn't have accepted a ride in the first place, even if I wasn't close to where I was going. But yeah, ever since then, that's never happened again. My husband and his coworker were not too happy to hear that. They thought it was very weird. But you know, as an American, I didn't think much of it. I guess I'm someone who's not that aware when it comes to that stuff like that. It's like, oh, this person's just being nice. But yeah, I definitely have to be a lot more careful with that kind of stuff. But thankfully nothing happened. Down to a couple left. Some of these I'm gonna have to remake, but I would do that off camera since some of them do have dust in it, no matter how hard I try not to have dust in it. But it is what it is. What can you do? That's just how it is when you make stuff. There's gonna be some that turn out great and some that don't turn out great. Oh, I also have to be careful. I put this in upside down. I try to put it this way where the pin opens upwards, so to make sure I put it down correctly too. Fortunately, this button machine doesn't have a lot of steps you have to do to press the button. The hardest thing, the most difficult thing I had with, well, let me rephrase that. The most difficult thing when I was learning how to press buttons was figuring out the correct circle size. Because there's a lot of templates out there, but I think when you buy it from a certain website, I think the websites have a template, so you want to be careful and make sure you use the right template, because each button machine might have a different template depending on how they press. That was the most difficult part, was making sure I had the right template and learning what the different circles meant, because we don't know when you make buttons. There's a few different color lines. So there's like a green circle, or a bigger red circle, and maybe a blue circle. And within those circles, you have to make sure that the art is like maybe inside the smaller green circle and so on. But once I figured that out, just save the template, open it when I make a new button design, and it's been easy since then. So making buttons is actually kind of fun. So true, have to be surprised. Have to be super careful these days. Yeah. Definitely have to. So far here it hasn't been for me. I haven't run into that much stuff like that since then, or anything too bad since then. So thankfully it's been, living here hasn't been too bad. Oh, next in April, my husband, what is this thing? There's a like a black dot here on this. Okay, I don't know what that was, but it came out. But in April, on April 8th, my husband, some friends of ours, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, were going to go somewhere here that's very, very popular, called a sugar shack. And what a sugar shack is it's basically a restaurant, and they serve food. But what you're supposed to do with the food is you put real maple syrup on top of your food and eat it. So it's kind of like a celebration of maple syrup. And depending on which sugar shack you go to, they're going to be different. The one we're going to, if I remember correctly, they served like breakfast like items like eggs and bacon and so on. And I'm someone who does not like having like sweet entrees or sweet. I don't like having my main platter sweet. And when I saw my husband's family dump the maple syrup all over their food, like a lot of it, I was in shock. And I wasn't sure how to feel, so I just put a little bit, like a little swirl on top of my food, because you know my husband's family was not having it with me not putting it on my food. So I put it a little bit on my food just to try. And if you haven't had real maple syrup before, it's really good. It's not super sugary. Like, you know, if you had in the States, or maybe even in Canada, if you had Aunt Jemima's, which is a brand of syrup that I know that's in the States. Yeah, I think I've seen it here too. Aunt Jemima's is super, super sweet. And maple syrup is not even nearly as sweet as that, like real maple syrup. So I actually quite enjoy it now. And we haven't been able to go, of course, since COVID, but this year we're going, and I'm super, super excited about that. Especially going with some friends we haven't seen since, one family of friends we haven't seen since they helped us move here to the new apartment. And I'm super excited to see them, especially their baby. I'm just super excited to be able to do Sugar Shack again. There's a very, very famous Sugar Shack here by, you know, a famous chef here in Quebec City, or just in Quebec in general. And I've joked with my husband that he needs to reserve a spot at that chef's Sugar Shack. Of course, it's like expensive, but it's like an experience, right? But then you also, there's a 3+ year waiting list for that. And I've jokingly told my husband like many times to make that reservation, and he hasn't done it yet. So I'm a little sad about it. So we're here at the last button that we're going to press. Hopefully it turned out okay. There's a little something on here, but I think it'll be okay because it's on the edge. Awesome, so that's the last badge button. I'm pressing on stream. I'm gonna put these here. Maybe move this over. The way I store my badge buttons is I use this toolbox that I got from Dollarama, and these are perfect for storing these size buttons. The main thing I like about this box is that it has these slots that you can open, so you can open the whole row up. Oh, well, there goes Raphtilia. But when I had my buttons up on my table at Cosplay Imagineer, I had the slots open and all my buttons were just in a row, all smushed together. So it was hard for people to find certain characters. So what I'm thinking about doing for Nadeshicon to showcase my buttons on my table. This is my Patreon sticker thingy, but let me take the stickers out real quick. These small stickers. What I'm thinking about doing for Nadeshicon is actually putting the buttons in here like this. There's 8 slots, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 slots. So I have more than enough of these to do it. But I think this is how I'm going to... I don't know if this is a good idea or not. I'll show you guys once I'm done putting a few in here. Let's put some of these originals in here. And from my direction, I think they look really nice, and you can see all of them at once. I think this might be a really good idea. I felt really smart when I came up with this, but there goes a Toru. Oopsie. Okay, anyway, put that in there. I hope you guys can see this, but when I turn it around like this, I think it looks great, especially if it's facing like this. Like, you can see all the button designs at once. And I think I would have to have maybe 4 or 5 of these next to each other, which I do have. And they are already split up, and you can see everything, so you just take what you want, and that's a lot better than what I had with this box. Before I thought about this, my husband suggested that maybe I just cut this top off of this, but I didn't want to cut the top off because if I did that and I closed this box, then nothing was keeping this closed, so I would have like a rubber band or something around it, and that would look kind of silly. Or I could have just bought another one of these and cut the top off, but I'm trying to just use what I have, and I think that this would be a great idea. So that's the plan so far for the buttons. That could totally change though based on how I end up setting everything. So far, my idea is to have so much stuff in containers on my table, but I kind of want to have like my grid cube slanted like this so that people can see the stuff easier, maybe for my keychains and stuff. And it's already slanted, so you don't have to like scrouch down or anything. But yeah, I'm super excited for Nadeshicon. This might possibly be the last of Nadeshicon prep for this week, because I am wanting to take the rest of the February to prepare for stuff ahead of time for March Patreon stuff. So yeah, that will be it, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this live stream. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Maybe I would do another live stream for some type of Nadeshicon prep if you guys enjoy this kind of live stream that's not just an art stream. I had a lot of fun doing this live stream. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.